Welcome to this class in which we're going to look at sample approval. So approval is the final stage in the life cycle of the sample. It's the final status you can assign. We have the sample manager open here, and you can see I've loaded some samples which are at status V, which is the validated status. In other words, every result has been validated or invalidated, so the sample itself has gone to status V. So if I wish to now approve this sample, click on the status and a range of different statuses that are available pops up for me to choose from. So I'm going to approve this one, validated and approved. The status changes, save changes. And normally when you've approved your sample, that's it. No more work is done to that sample. That's your final status. Let me go to another one and show you that again. Okay, I've loaded this sample and you can see this one's broken a couple of limits and there's a couple of invalidated statuses on it. So if I click on the sample status again, I might choose to assign this a different approval status, should I say. So I might say, well, obviously it's broken some limits here, so I'm going to flag it for rework. Save changes. Now, this doesn't magically make something else happen in the system. What you're doing as an administrator is you're tagging this sample with a rework, and then somebody else will come along or in the lab, find out any samples that have been set to rework and look at them and follow your company's business practices for how you deal with that. Whether you create a duplicate sample and redo all the testing, whether you rejig this sample some other way, that's up to you. But all you're saying is, I'm not satisfied with this sample needs more work. Let's try another one. And it might be that for some reason you wanted to obsolete your sample, which is another obvious one here. It might be that the testing that's been done on the sample, someone's accidentally ordered up the wrong testing against the sample, not what was required by the customer or something like that. And therefore, although the testing has been performed, it's not actually what you wanted. So you might just say, I just want to cancel this sample, so you could flag it as obsolete. Save changes. So each of these statuses applied to the sample means you can then use the status as the basis for filtering it out on a report. So if you were printing a certificate of analysis, you'd only want to have the validated and approved ones. You'd want to exclude obsolete. If you were doing a report for someone to run on a Monday morning to see what had been ordered up for rework, then obviously you just select the ones that have been flagged for rework. So approval is done via the sample manager, as I have done, but we can also approve samples via another program. So if I go into the home page that I've already got open, we have a sample multi-approve application. I'll click on that to run it. Should just take a moment to launch. So in here it's showing me by default all the samples which are available for approval. So all the samples which are status V. You see some of these are coloured in at the bottom, and the ones that are green, these two, it indicates that there were limits on that sample and the limits have been passed. All the results are within limits. The ones that are in red indicate there were limits on that sample, but the limits have failed, although the sample itself has still been validated. At the top there is a filter box. If I click on that, you can say, show me the samples without of limits, results out of limits, and that'll filter it to only those. Ones that have broken warning limits, looks like there's none of those. Samples which are results which have passed all limits, So it shows me those. You'll notice it doesn't show all the samples. I'll just put all the samples back again, because it excludes the ones that don't have limits on. It actually just specifically shows you the ones that have got limits that have passed. So if I wanted to approve some of these, so let's approve these two, I can click on them to select a new status, or I think I can hold down the control key. I can select multiple at the same time and then select status, approved. Oh, I think the recording software I had missed that, but when you click on select status, a little box appears from which to choose the statuses. It seems to have done it pretty much instantaneously, but you can see those statuses have now gone to validated and approved. So I'll go back to the sample manager, and just a quick recap. So your approval status, it's your final status. It follows on from the validation step, and you don't have to approve a sample. If you want to approve one, you just click, choose the status you want, save, and it's done. So it's as simple as that. So I hope that makes the approval process a bit clearer. Thank you very much for watching this video.